and I'm back with another Doctor Who series review. This time with series 2 of the revived series, probably one of the weakest ones actually. So get straight into it. The Christmas Invasion. Obviously I've got to be a bit more sort of relaxed about these because they are Christmas specials. They are meant to be a bit more childish and comedic and sort of light. But it was alright. I think it was quite boring until the Doctor actually got out of bed. I can see why they did that, but I don't think it really worked that well because it was just boring until he got out of bed. I love the sword fight. It really sort of reminds me of the Sea Devils and the King's Demons, stuff like that. I think you got to sort of sympathise with the Sycorax when they essentially run away and then they get shot anyway. So I can see where the Doctor's coming from when he basically makes out that Harriet Jones is a fucking bitch. And it's only a little thing. Classic fans probably would have noticed it in Series 1, but during Series 1 there was no middle 8 in the over the credit music, and in this story it returned, and I'm glad about that. New Earth, this was obviously the proper start to Series 2. I'm not quite sure why they brought Cassandra back. I don't think she really affected the story too much. She wasn't even really the villain in it, was she, to be honest? She was completely out of character, especially towards the end, and yeah, I think it could have been better if she wasn't in it, to be honest. I don't know why Cassandra decided to kiss the Doctor when she was in Rose's body. I think that was like an afterthought. It wasn't in the original script, but it was still fucking stupid anyway. Prosthetics were really good, especially the cat nuns and also all the infected people. The plot was actually alright, but it was just executed really badly, just like Aliens of London, just like The Long Game. Tooth and Claw. Now I think Tooth and Claw is a really underrated story. I love the throwaway line right at the start when the Doctor claimed he was James McCrimmon. The plot was great. The only thing I didn't really like was the whole not amused malarkey. It was just really irritating, and especially by the end it just wasn't even funny. School reunion. God, this is a story that I've been waiting to watch since I started on an Unearthly Child. Honestly, School Reunion is such a good story. It's lovely to see Sarah Jane back. It's lovely to see K9 back, and obviously he was voiced by John Leeson, which is great. I think in David Tennant's acting you could see a lot of Tom Baker, which is obviously a good thing. I loved all the classic callbacks, mainly in that little bitch fight with Rose and Sarah Jane. But overall, I think it was a really emotional story. It was mainly all about goodbyes and sort of the effects of people's lives after the Doctor's left. And I think that really worked in this story. It really showed that off. The plot wasn't anything too special, and the credit teams were just like, they're quite forgettable villains, I think. But the saving grace was definitely Sarah Jane and K9, and yeah, it's definitely one of the best of the new series. The Girl in the Fireplace, Stephen Moffat's second script after The Empty Child. Did he beat The Empty Child? No, he didn't. It was good. The concept was really good. The execution was quite good as well. The only thing I didn't really like was the whole romance between the Doctor and Madame de Pompadour. But at the end of the day, who wouldn't go for her? It was really funny seeing the Doctor sort of act drunk. I know, again, a lot of people don't like that, but I think it's funny. The ending was really sad. I know I said I didn't like the romance bit and I didn't, but the way they did do it was quite emotional. And yeah, like I said, it was a great story. It wasn't obviously up there with The Empty Child, but it was quite good. And then obviously we see the Cybermen return in Rise of the Cybermen / The Age of Steel. Were they any good? To be honest, it was probably better than Silver Nemesis, but it wasn't actually that good. It was nice to see them explore parallel universes for the first time since Inferno, I think. That worked really well. I think it was great to see some development with Mickey's character. I think Mickey's a great character, probably not as good as Jackie in terms of the recurring characters in this, but yeah, it was nice to see some development there. The resolution wasn't that great. The Doctor seemed so sort of upset when he took that Cyberman's chest plate off when he was with Mrs. Moore, to find out that they could still, they broke the emotional inhibitor and they could feel pain. So the fact that they ended up using that against them at the end, I thought was very, I suppose, out of character. I don't really know how they could have resolved it otherwise, but I'm not really too keen on the resolution. But the ending, when Rose says goodbye to Mickey, it's actually quite sad. The Idiot's Lantern, I don't know what it is with the fucking weird angles. They did the same in School Reunion. They just sort of twist the camera, and I don't know why they did it. It didn't look great either. Eddie is a cunt, but that's what men were like in the 50s. They were very strict, and you know, what the bloke said goes. You know, that's just the way it was. So you do feel really sorry for him right at the end when he gets thrown out his house. It was nice to find out that the Union Jack is only called the Union Jack when it's out at sea, otherwise it's called the Union Flag. I suppose that's a nice little bit of knowledge there. I love seeing the Doctor so angry when he found out that Rose had her face stolen. It's just a shame it only lasted like 30 seconds, because by the next scene he wasn't really talking, he was just sort of stood there watching some sort of domestic. So it's a shame you didn't see him angry like that for longer. And we get the Impossible Planet / the Satan Pit. To be honest, this is probably one of the best stories of the new series overall. It's great to see a proper bait under siege story. The guy who voiced Sutekh in Pyramids of Mars returns to voice the Beast in this, so obviously I like that. I love the fact that it plays with religion and beliefs, and the religious stuff is kind of comparable to the Daemons when you really sort of think about it, and Deimos even gets mentioned at one point as well. It's only a throwaway line, and it feels like hardly anyone picks up on it, but I picked up on it because I'm special. But yeah, absolutely fantastic story, well worth watching if you haven't watched it. Presumably you have. Love and Monsters. Crap, the vlog style really didn't work at all. The Absorbaloff was a crap villain. Peter Kay is a great comedian, but he shouldn't have been in Doctor Who. He was crap in Doctor Who. Elton seems like a proper creep to the point where he's clearly getting sucked off by that slab. And the whole theme of the story was just so childish. The atmosphere was childish, everything felt very convenient, and it's shit. Talking of shit, Fray Her. It's very dated with all the Olympic stuff. There's some really good attention to detail. I saw a 2009 reg plate, and I saw a late 2011 plate as well. So, you know, very good attention to detail. They didn't have to do that, but they did. The Isolus was a shite villain as well, probably not as bad as the Absorbaloff actually. Chloe Webber is one of the most irritating childs of all time in this show, and the story was just crap as well. And then the finale, Army of Ghosts / Doomsday. It was alright. Probably wasn't as good as Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel. Yvonne must be the worst boss in the world. She's just letting her staff go for a shag. Rose seemed so arrogant, especially at the start of Doomsday when she was trying not to be killed by the Daleks. She felt so arrogant in what she was doing. It would have been nice to see more Daleks and Cybermen fighting. We saw a little bit of it, especially in the warehouse and a bit outside, but there wasn't a lot of that, and it would have been nice to see a lot more. I don't quite get why Pete didn't get pulled into the void when he went to rescue Rose. The ending when the Doctor was saying bye to Rose on that beach, it wasn't emotional at all. I don't think. I can see why people find it emotional. I can see where they were going with it, but it didn't work. I don't like the whole romance thing between them two, and it just didn't fucking work. Overall, to be honest, Series 2 is probably the weakest out of all the series so far. I think the story arc worked well. I felt like Torchwood was getting thrown in your face at times. I think Bad Wolf last series worked a lot better, but the whole thing of Torchwood I don't mind, but I think Torchwood is very similar to Unit in the way they work. Speaking of Torchwood is going to be what I'm watching next week, so I will see you in the next video. Fucking hell, what was that?